Pika pika!
In the lowest layer of Viridian Forest, life begins with thin streaks of light. Eating to grow and hiding to survive is the only law for Weedle. Sensitivity to vibration helps the weak identify danger before it even arrives. When the wind rises, the small must find a way to anchor to life. Failing to keep a feeding ground teaches Weedle to adapt to adversity. When nutrition is sufficient, silence is the preparation for a new journey. Kakuna appears, a silent fortress in a world full of constant motion. Enduring and waiting is the ultimate strength of a life cocoon. When pressure reaches its peak, the old shell becomes a launchpad for freedom. Beedrill emerges, transforming from the hunted into the low sky controller. Flying by ancient instinct, Beedrill now dictates the order of the forest floor. The truly strong only strike when their territory is directly violated. The old predator returns, carrying the power of a vast and open sky. A single wing beat reignites the struggle for survival between land and sky. Speed is life, but precision is the key to achieving absolute victory. When limits are compressed, the body opens the gate to supreme power. Mega Beedrill emerges, a flaming lance amidst the damp and misty forest. A fateful strike ends the days of being prey beneath the leaves. A new order is established when the smallest becomes the greatest protector. Maturity is the journey to keep the needle ready to protect life. True power lies not in destruction, but in the ability to hold ground. Holding one's ground is the greatest victory of all life that exists. In the arid wilderness, there exists an entity of pure physical power. This is Rhyhorn, a creature with bone structure 1,000 times harder than humans. It often forgets its purpose while executing a lethal death charge. This absent-mindedness sometimes pushes it into grim survival traps. With short legs, Rhyhorn cannot maneuver within these narrow spaces. Compression pressure from the fall triggers a cellular restructuring process. In the moment near death, the survival instinct awakens fiercely. Raiden emerges, a standing warrior with an exaltation of intellect. It no longer runs aimlessly. Every movement is now calculated. However, Mother Nature always has even harsher environmental challenges. Raiden is buried under tons of molten matter from the core. Between life and death, it absorbs rare minerals to strengthen its shell. A heat-resistant armor begins to form, covering all remaining vulnerabilities. Riperia is reborn from the 1,000-ton pressure of ancient strata. With arms like cannons, it easily obliterates every physical obstacle. This power is now used to protect the ecosystem's natural balance. It stands at the pinnacle of the ultimate ground-type evolutionary chain. From a distracted creature, it has become the mountain deity. Evolution is not just changing form, it is the growth of will. The mystery of the Spikes Pokémon continues beneath Mother Earth. In Galar's depths, life begins with darkness and keen visual adaptation. Timber turns timber into levers, a physical extension of its survival will. But predators know how to turn seismic tremors into ambush weapons. When wood shatters, instinct forces the creature to seek a new matter. In despair, the line between extinction and evolution grows thin. Steel is not just metal, it is a test for muscular limit. Zygarde rises, shedding fragility to master industrial materials. Every skin scar witnesses a cycle of brutal conditioning. The rigidity of metal attracts the most cunning predators. One swing, steel tears the air, redefining the laws of territory. Yet, against tectonic rage, even the strongest steel must finally bend. When tools fail, power must return to the ancient roots of stone. Chemical condensation transforms mineral mud into life's pillars. Conkeldurr emerges, a grand architect from the ruins. Its flesh petrifies, forming an immovable entity. It does not just survive, it becomes the cavern's fulcrum. Concrete strikes, ending the hunt with the ruler's authority. Predators flee, frantically digging away from the power. As dust settles, rocks shatter to dust against concrete monuments. Heavy footsteps mark the end of an era of fragility. It steps into the sunset, carrying the strength of eternity. Under the sun, creature and matter are unified. The cave is sealed, a legacy shaped in concrete. Evolution is the endless journey of souls brave enough to change. Deep underground, a biological network silently preserves the absolute order. These are tiny spy cells, the fundamental units monitoring the planet. When imbalance reaches a threshold, the defense mechanism will be activated. An infrasonic signal forces the fragments to abandon their dormancy. The 10% form is designed for missions requiring extreme speed. It assesses the biological threat level within a fleeting split second. Countering with extreme speed, compressing all kinetic energy into a ram. This scout form lacks the mass to suppress the giant. When speed fails, the biological structure is forced to upgrade immediately. The 50% form emerges, the ultimate embodiment of geological power. It begins executing punishment through the wrath of the land. Futile resistance only inflicts more grievous harm on the ecosystem. Chaos is a system error that must be absolutely wiped out. A process of absolute convergence between biological fragments begins. This is complete Zygarde, the final zenith of biological balance. A biological machine possessing power far surpassing the gods, order is established through the exercise of complete dominance. It concentrates energy for the ultimate core punishment, a precisely calculated strike protecting the surrounding life. The Punisher is also, simultaneously, the great healer. They return to an invisible state, hidden in every inch. Order has been preserved, awaiting the awakening of new chaos. In Asado's geothermal zone, life sprouts not from seeds, but from volcanic ash. A Charcaday pair breaches stone cocoons, forged by millennia of extreme geothermal pressure. In this harsh realm, energy is the only currency with any true practical value. Coordination begins as one individual uses Ember to strategically guide the prey's movement. The second uses Tackle, leveraging pure inertia to fell a much larger, heavy opponent. But deep within their genetic code, a biological differentiation begins to unfold silently. One forges bone density, while the other focuses intensely on maximizing thermal compression. It endures physical destruction to construct either armor or achieve absolute lethal agility. Facing the giant, it employs flame charge to shatter the enemy's tactical balance. Rage counters with earth power, transforming the solid ground into a crushing weapon. Smokescreen is deployed to neutralize the enemy, protecting its partner in an instant. Under extreme pressure, the carbon shell begins a process of forced biological crystallization. An ancient malice awakens, transforming the red flame into a spectral, lethal aura. Armor Rouge and Serilage emerge, two opposing entities forged from heat and ancient malice. This is Armor Cannon, releasing a millennium of pressure to penetrate all physical barriers. Shadowsneak sends the Executioner through the void, reaching the prey's critical blind spot. The Shadow Claw attacks the nervous system, while Armor halts every final resistance. Relentless training allows them to achieve a level of absolute lethal biological precision. One commands an authoritative stillness, while the other embodies a lurking, primal fear. This opposition creates nature's most perfect, flawless defense and offense system. The struggle continues, but their status has been permanently and forever altered from here. Bitterblade concludes the reaction, banishing the old ruler from this kingdom of ash. Deep beneath forgotten geological layers, nature is slowly swallowing a cruel artificial legacy. Magnetic energy sustains the life of a biological machine, a patched-together creature imprisoned in a perpetual vegetative state. The helmet is not just a physical shackle, but a device of absolute sensory deprivation. But when the fault pressure of the Earth's crust disrupts the system, the flame of survival instinct is ignited for the first time. Having no memories, every reflex is dictated by extreme panic. A machine leaking electricity is always easy prey for opportunists. Restricted vision forces it to fight using brute force impact. Leaving the glass cage, it enters nature as an ecological amputee. The weakness of a scavenger attracts the attention of sky tyrants. But time has forged its panic into stubborn reflexes. It has learned to trade minor injuries to sustain its life. When faced with probing, its nervous system unexpectedly shifts direction. The panicked defensive instinct is extinguished, giving way to biological tranquility. The stabilization of endocrines completely alters the core energy frequency. The shackles are not broken from the outside, but are dismantled from within. Evolution has transformed a flawed machine into an entity of absolute freedom. With expanded vision, this body self-appoints as an ecological scale. No longer brutal, every movement is a perfect kinetic calculation. The stronger must step back before flawless precision. However, asserting dominance always requires the subjugation of tyrants. It restrains the opponent with absolute survival pressure, but does not take its life. True evolution is when a creature learns to self-determine its place amidst the vastness of nature. Hidden deep beneath dense forest canopies, artificial ruins are slowly being assimilated by nature. At the center of the ruins, a crystal core acts as the heart of the entire area. It retains a dense form of cognitive energy, lingering from ancient times. The electromagnetic coagulation process is complete, birthing an inorganic biomechanical sentinel. This pure energy source is always a target for metallic invasive species. The sentinel lacks muscles, compensating instead with perfect magnetic kinetic energy. The defense is instinctive, absolutely avoiding pursuit to preserve the critical position. Over many cycles of lunar radiation photosynthesis, the singular structure gradually exceeds its tolerance threshold. Metallic mitosis occurs, doubling the capacity for 360-degree spatial control. The twin consciousness allows them to execute micro-swarm tactics. One body absorbs the force, the other counterattacks from the blind spot. More than just weapons, they act as the ecological regulatory mechanism of the area. The kinetic pressure dispels any predatory intent that harms the balance. When the core energy reaches absolute condensation, the ultimate evolution begins. A piece of ancient armored matter is assimilated into the neural structure. The twin entities merge into a super machine, both an absolute shield and an executioner sword. The energy burst immediately attracts pack conquerors. Reallocating the center of gravity turns the shield into a kinetic absorption reactor. Every opening left by the enemy comes at the cost of optical thermal cuts. The instantaneous form shifting eliminates any mechanical blind spots. The tyrant's final resistance hits a wall of despair. Magnetic energy is unleashed as a destructive plasma beam. The sword and the shield are no longer two entities, but a single heartbeat. The absolute defensive state helps it preserve energy infinitely. On ancient steppes, the silence of the lake ecosystem is maintained by microscopic energy pulses. Keldeo, a semi-liquid biomechanical entity, exists in a fragile balance between land and water. The burden of ancient legacy lies within the opaque, unformed horn. The cultivation process is not through raw power, but through rhythmic control. Every step of the ancient guardians is a defined geological pulse. Keldeo observes and tries to mimic that heavy stride, but its semi-liquid body is still unstable. Kinetic desynchronization often leads to useless scattered force. Every conflict is a measurement of velocity and center of gravity. Scattered force is the consequence of an unfocused center of gravity. Kinetic adjustment demands maximum neurological focus. From then, Keldeo practices focusing everything into a thin line, gathering all force into a clear, single straight axis. Achieving biological stillness allows for linear impulse. Relentless forging in the dark gradually bends the physical limits of the body. The shell of hesitation shatters, releasing a fully formed biological nucleus. The reconstruction process is complete. The resolute sentinel arises, carrying the flawless precision of a straight line. The resolute form is not faster, but more precise. Interacting with the mud ecosystem demands rear leg stability. The resolute sentinel no longer experiments, but rather flawless reflex. The entire process is the concentration of energy into an unblemished straight line. Without any communicative signals, biological stillness has allowed for absolute impulse synchronization. The four entities now operate as a single kinetic network, inseparable. From a sapling with unconscious fluctuations, it has learned to gather survival energy into a flawless straight line, not through brute force, but through absolute precision. Pinwheel Forest, where darkness and silence govern every law of survival. Venipede senses the world through the slightest vibration sent via its keen antennae. An unsuspecting Sawaddle accidentally emits a death signal from its tiny footsteps. A precise instantly paralyzes the target's nervous system. From the heights, aerial predators commence their relentless hunt. Pressure from enemy wings triggers the species' ultimate defensive reflex. Whirlipede emerges, a fortified steel fortress hardened from dense chitin. It accumulates massive kinetic energy, preparing for a powerful counterstrike that crushes every obstacle obstructing its journey of survival. Whirlipede enters a stage of energy accumulation within the silence of the cave. It becomes the silent guardian, sheltering the swarm's younger generation. Every harsh environmental impact serves as a catalyst for change. Scolipede reveals itself, breaking all restraints to reach the apex. A colossal entity possessing overwhelming strength and absolute authority. The old enemy returns, but now it faces a true king. The fluidity of transforms a massive body into a ghost of speed. A piercing, injecting collapse directly into the opponent's veins. Scolipede no longer flees vibrations, it has become their master. Beneath ancient roots, new lives await the day of their awakening. A new life cycle begins again from the very first faint vibrations. Adaptation is the ultimate power helping creatures transcend biological limits.